Hello, welcome to our Wednesday webinar. Today you're going to see how we plan in TrunCAD TV wall with acoustic wall panels, and we go through it step by step. And you see it here in a preview. Now we have here in total 4 cabinets. If we click here on the cabinet tab, now we have 4 cabinets, and we are activating on the eye here our smart clicks, and we turn off the room, and then let's start. We click on File and start a new project. And if there are any questions, just use the chat. I will always keep an eye on it. And first of all, we set up the first cabinet, and the first cabinet has a width of 500. So we click on the dimension for the width. Here's the Windows opening on the bottom left corner. Here you see it's a bit covered from zoom. That's width of cabinet, and here we type in 500 millimeter and confirm it with enter. And the height of our first cabinet is 2350, confirming it with enter. And yeah, we don't want to have plinths beneath the cabinet. That's why we click here on the drop-down menu for the plinths and click on no plinths. And you see the plinth is disappearing. So our cabinet has here a distance to the bottom of 150 millimeter, and therefore we click also on a smart click for the cabinet. It's here. Then you see the circle menu is opening, and here we click on distance to bottom, and here the Windows opening distance to bottom, and here we type in 150. It's in millimeter. We're confirming it with enter, and then the position and the dimension of our first cabinet is set it up. And what we are doing now is we add the trims on top. Yeah, therefore we click here on the drop-down menu for the trim where the cross is on the top. And here we want to have on the cabinet trim. Yeah, you see here we have a height of 100. We could change it. And here we have an offset of -20. So usually it's 2. But when you type in something like minus, then it goes to the front. Yeah. Um, what's the difference is because you can also use here flush to front. And if it's flush to front, it's get an extension on the bottom. But in this case, we don't need it. But here, usually you have the gap in the middle of the edge bending, but you will see why when we plan the next cabinet. We don't want to have the automation flush to front. Here we're setting it up manually. All right. And here on the left side, we want to have a trim. And it's also manually with an offset of 20 that this is on the same level. Okay. Now we are copying this cabinet. Yeah. If we want to copy a cabinet, we need to click on one of these smart clicks, yeah, on the top or on the bottom. Yeah, here I will do it on the bottom. We click on the smart click, and here the circle menu is opening, and here we click copy cabinet, and then our second cabinet is done. But for the second cabinet, we don't want to have on the left side a trim. That's why we click here on the drop-down menu and say no trim. So, and you see, because these two cabinets, they are snapped to each other. Because of this, the trim on top is automatically connected. Yeah, this is only working when the cabinets are snapped to each other, like we have done it. So yeah, the left cabinet, we will add some doors. For the right cabinet, we change now the material because that is an open cabinet, and here we want to have a different material. That's why we click on the Material tab, and here we use Material Agar H1334, and we want to change all parts of the group, because if we just drag it and drop it on the right side, just the right side changed. If we use here all the parts, then the top, bottom panel, right, and all the verticals and horizontals belong to this group and are getting changed. And here we also want to have the back panel with the same material. So because this is an open cabinet, and here we will add some fronts later, but because of this, we change here the width of the cabinet from 600 to 620. I don't mean the width, I mean the depth of the cabinet here. Yeah, so we click on the dimension for the depth and we type in 620 and confirming it with enter. So now you see here we have an offset of this 20 and the trim is getting disconnected. And now we are going back to the cabinet tab, go here on cabinet, and here we change the offset from -20 to 20. And you see it's now getting connected. And now you know also why we don't use the automation flush to front, because here it doesn't make sense that we get here an offset on the bottom or an overlap to the bottom. Yeah. So what we are adding now here on the right side is the visible side. Now we add here the visible side. That's all right. And yeah, now we are going to the division tab. And here's the left cabinet. We're dividing this area in the top and bottom area. And you see also, yeah, the material keeps the same, because here we changed the whole group of the materials. When we add here 5 horizontals, they will also have the same material what we are used. So, and in the next step, we go here to the interior tab, and here on the left side, we add here an adjustable shelf on the bottom and on the bottom and top. And then we go on the front tab, and here we add on the top a left door, and here also on the bottom a left door. And now you see the open shelf. It's on the same level like the fronts. That's now flush to front. And our first 2 cabinets are well done. And the next one will be our low board. And therefore we click on a cabinet tab. And now we click on the drop-down menu for the cabinet tab. And here we change the width to 2560. The height should be 450. and the depth is the same 600. That's all right. The distances are 0 because we are snapping it directly on this snap point here, just dragging and dropping it on here, and our low board is now on the right position. And what we are doing now, we change the plinths from the plinths to no plinths, and the cabinet is getting also a bigger height. And here we are. I'm just checking. I'm check here. I go on a smart click for this cabinet and we check your distance to back. Here's 20. We need to set it to 0. Yeah, because here we get fronts on it and we don't want to have here a gap on the back. That's why we change it to 0. And yeah, now we want to have here a cover panel on also a visible side on the right side. So that's why we click on here and activate the cover panel. So accidentally it swapped to the first cabinet. So we activate here the third cabinet again and activate the cover panel. Yeah, now here you see the cover panel is there and the cover panel has here an overlap to the front of 20, so that is also on the same dimension. And here on the right side, we add also the visible side, and we have here also overlap to front of 20. So on the bottom, we don't need it now, and we are going from the cabinet tab to the division tab, and here we want to have two verticals. We just drag and drop in this area, and you see the areas are related in relation 1 to each other. That is all right. And now we go on the front tab and we want to have here 3 drawers and they are all the same. That's why we can use also the copy function. So we can copy an area and therefore we set up the first area and we drag and drop here the drawer in it. And we don't have a handle, but we do want to have a profile. That's why we click on the drop-down menu for the profile, activate here the profile. Here we can change the width of the L profile and here's the overlap. And we just activate it. And now we are dragging it and dropping it here on the front smart click. Yeah, you can choose here the top or bottom one. We let it drop on a top one. That's why we get our L profile on here. Yeah. So and also you get here on the side a cutout. Yeah. If we double click here on the make a double click on the vertical, then it's getting opened. Yeah, it's loading now, and here you see the cutout. And the depth of the cutout is defined by the material. Yeah, if you use here other material with more thickness, then the cutout is also getting bigger. And if we go back to the front tab, yeah, and if we change here the width of the cabinet, then you see here automatically is width or also the overlap is then changing, like you see here. Yeah. All right. I will leave it like this. That is all right. And then our first area is set it. Yeah. And you see every area has here on the top left corner a green smart click. So we need to pick the right one. Yeah, that is here this smart click for the whole area. You see all the areas are purple colored. And if we go on a lower one, you see only the left area of the low board is selected. We click on here and we use the copy symbol and we click on the smart click of the middle area. And here we click on it and use the paste symbol, and then the drawer with our L profile is pasted on here, and we do it on the right side as well. And now our low board is well done. And last but not least, we will create the acoustic wall panels here on the right side. And therefore we define the dimension and the position of it. Now we click here back on the cabinet tab on the drop-down menu for the cabinet, and our acoustic wall panels shall have a width of 800 and the height should be from the bottom to the top, so it's 2500 millimeter, and the depth of these panels should be 200, and the distance to the left, yeah, it should be here on the right wall. So, and we have a width of 800, so we need to calculate 4200 minus 800. Yeah, then we have 3400 millimeter. And the distance to the bottom is 0 and to the back is also 0. And now we just drag and drop the new cabinet here on the left wall. Yeah, here it's also important that you don't snap it on other cabinet. We wanna have the position here on the middle wall. So that's why we drag it and drop it here on the middle wall. And then we get the position of the cabinet. And you see that is our default cabinet. So we just turn everything off except the last cabinet. And here we need to make an acoustic wall panel. And for this wall panel, we don't want to have a back. That's why we click here on the drop-down menu for the back. And we say no back. And then we don't want to have plinths. That's why we click one further on the drop-down menu for the plinths and say no plinths. And we don't want to have a bottom and a top panel. That's why we click off on the smart click here on the right, bottom right, or here on the bottom left corner. Yeah, it doesn't matter. If you click on here, you see here bottom panel delete. We click on it, then it's getting deleted. We are doing the same with the top panel. I keep this because I want to show you something. And now we go on the division tab because we want to add here verticals, excuse me, verticals, 16, and we drag it and drop it here. And what I want to show you, yeah, because we have here the top panel, if you click here on a drop-down menu, you need to take care that your verticals passing through top and bottom is activated. Yeah, then you see the top panel is getting divided and verticals are passing through top. When you don't have it activated, and if you click on here, on a smart click on the bottom right or bottom left corner, yeah, now I have a graphical issue. Sometimes it's happened, then I would like to change it, and if we click here, then it's working. Yeah, now we maximize it now, and it should working. Yeah, sometimes such a graphical issue happens. Then just make a change, like I showed you. So here we delete the the top panel, and then you see we have here a gap. That's why I recommend to activate your vertical passing through top. Then it's on the same level. All right. Now you see our uh, acoustic wall panels are almost done. We just click on the material tab and drag and drop here the material on it. So, all right, this is done. What we need to take care of, therefore, we click on the eye again and show all cabinets. Yeah, you see here we have here an overlap. They're overlapping, so we need to shorten this for panels, and therefore we measuring it. Yeah, and therefore we keep the control button pressed, and we click on here. Yeah, you see the coordinate for this point in the room. The XYZ value, the Z value is 600. Yeah, we can calculate it by ourselves. We can also use the calculation of TrunCAD, and we click on it, then it's turned from red to green, and we are zooming in on here, and here Z is 0, and we click on it, and here you see we need to shorten these 4 panels 600 millimeters, so we click OK. And here on the left panel, it's really easy. We click on the smart click on the bottom left corner on the front, and here you see overlap, and here you see overlap to the left bottom panel is 0 currently, and here we type in -600, confirming it with enter. And now it's shortened to here. Yeah, it's exactly how we want to have it. And now we need to do it with these 3 panels as well. But for the other 3 panels, because that is the left panel, the others are the verticals, we need to find a different way. And to show it to you clearly, we turn everything off except the acoustic wall panels. And in this case, we activate also here the arrows. And then we keep the shift button pressed and click here on this. You see here the arrow for this panel is getting activated, and we can change it here. Yeah, we keep it like this. You can click on here, And we can say minus 600, get exactly minus 600. So we do this with the next two panels as well. So keep the shift button pressed and click on it, then the arrow is appearing. Now we drag it up and let it drop. And we do the same with the next. Keep the shift button pressed. We see the arrow is activated and we drag it and drop it up. So what's important is, yeah, we don't need to set it here exactly because we can also click on the number or here on the arrow, and then we type in minus 600, confirming it with enter. And here you see it's a bit too much. Now we can click on it and change it from 620 to 600 and confirming it with enter. And now we are well done. So we draw the room and we deactivate the arrows, smart clicks, and all the dimensions. And if we want, we can also activate the room. And if you click here also on a room and a drop-down menu for the room, can you also change the depth of the room. Yeah, if you wanna activate or deactivate the ceiling, you neither activate or deactivate the checkbox. Yeah, or if you want to have here the right wall invisible, yeah, you can set it up your way, however you want to have it. And also next week we will publishing our new function, and we are focusing on AI rendering function. Yeah, there I also will show you how to render this with AI within a few minutes. So what I see here, the TV is missing. Therefore, we are using the poster, and we have here a width of 1600, a height of 900. Distance to left is 2400 and distance to bottom is 800. Yeah, that is like a poster. We drag it and drop it here on the middle wall. And that is our TV. Yeah. So if you click on the TV afterwards, you can also change the width or the height or change the distance to the bottom and distance to the left side. All right. Yeah, now you can present it to your customer. And yeah, if you want to have the data, the production data, you click on data export, and here you get the cutting list and so on. Yeah, also the panel optimization or the export to the TrunOpt. Yeah, here you can choose your layout and create your cutting list. All right. Thank you for your attention, and I'm looking forward to next week where we also publishing the AI functions, and see you there. So take care. Bye bye.